Back in September 2020, we sold our house in the UK, then moved to Normandy in France, where we bought an ancient French farmhouse with various outbuildings, including an old barn, a small cottage with 2 woodlands, and 3.5 acres of pastured land in a beautiful national park area. Follow us on our journey as Budo and I renovate the farmhouse, manage our land, and take on many projects for you to enjoy. Let the fun begin.
Okay folks, so today I started building the contraption. I'm calling it a contraption, but it's a bedding implement that gets fitted onto the back of this rototiller. And what I'm doing is I'm reutilising the holes here. I've just threaded these 2 holes. I'll show you what I mean by that. So this tool here, this is for making thread holes, and then I've got the reverse to make the bar, if you like. And then what I've done is, as you can see, the original, if you can see that, that's the original. It's a little bit tight, but it was just the right size for a 1620 or 16.2 thing. So what I've done is I've made these threads on this side. Yeah, if you can see what I'm doing there. And then what that'll do, I'll take you away and show you, hang on. That allows me, I'm just going to take the bolt off these bolts here. So it allows me to use these bolts that I have already. And then what they'll do is, I know this is beyond a few people, but you know, you just watch along anyway. So that now threads into there. Okay. So this will hold a plate that goes along here, and at the back of this I'll put a nut as well, just to give it double security. Okay, so there'll be 2, there'll be 1 top and bottom, and then it's going to hold this steel plate, steel I-beam down here on both sides, and they're going to come in, like I said, to a V. I'll show you as it all sort of comes together. I just want to show you this bit. So I've cut the first I-beam off, and that's what's left of it so far. I've had a lot of running around today, so it just eats your day up, you know, because I had to go and get some new cutters. I ran out of them. Then I was looking for a new cutter for my disc. I couldn't get one yet, but I will do. But they're good enough for the job. Tracy's phone charging cables had busted as well, so I had to get some new ones of them for her, and I picked up one for our iPhone as well. But I also want to show you something else I'm doing. Now if you go back a few videos, you see me when I was making this thing here, yeah? And then this can go down there, and this ball, hitch ball, can go lower, so I can pull my trailer, or higher if I'm pulling things out. But what I've made is, I don't know if you can see this, I've cut this into I've shaped it, sorry, into a spike, point, down the sides as well. Then I've got this one I'm doing now, which is a thinner one, which is filed sharp. Okay, and then I'm going to bolt that. You can see the cross marks there, on there. I'm going to drill that and bolt it on here. And what this is for, this is like an anvil, or there is a technical word for it, I'll have to think of it, but basically that bolt's on there. And then you saw me cutting the hazel rods, so this I'll be using to split the hazel rods, and I'll show you that when I'm doing it. And then, so this is the hazel rods at the top and willow, and then this one's for heavy stuff. So if I want to split a log, I just bang it onto there and then hit it, and it will split the log out. Yeah, it's not how you split logs, but you know, it's just a quick one if you're in the field or something, you want to do something. But so it's getting things to do 2 or 3 jobs. You know, that plate there's doing a couple of jobs. It's holding the hitch ball on. It's also creating a little area in here where I can put things in without them rolling off, and I can tie them to that. Then I've got this as a splitter as well, a double splitter. I can keep this at the front, which I will do because it'd be more safer. If I kept it back here and then I'm pushing through, I don't want to catch myself on this point here, if you like. I hope you can see all that. Anyway, so I don't want to keep it here, I want to keep it up the front. Anyway, that was another thing. So let me get these threaded out, the rest of them, and cut the other I-beam, and then I'll show you it as I start to build it. So this is what I mean by threading. I'm now cutting in these threads into this hole that was already here. A little bit forwards, a little bit back, clearing it out. You can hear it cutting lovely. And there we go, through. So that now, let's cut a thread. And now I'll show you what I mean. This won't go in there, in this one, but this is the threaded cut. And that now can take that bolt. Alright. So I've just got to do the bottom one now. So line it up, plenty of oil on there. You want to start off nice and square. And because these are tapered at the front, they work their way in quite square for you anyway, as soon as you get that first bite. So I'm cleaning out as I go. I've got a stone in the way down there. That's it, that's through. So that's cut the thread all the way through from me. Just retrieve it now, and that'll be ready for that one to go in. Oh. There we go. Job's a good un, as they say, job's a good un. Okay then folks, so you can see what I've done now. So I've made up this little bend in the bracket. I bent the bracket, I just relieved it here with a little cut so I could bend it round. I've put two threaded holes in here, here and here, behind here in this red one. Alright. Then I put two big bolts in with a nut behind it to lock it off. And that means I can undo these two, slide this off when I don't need it, but leave the bolts intact. So I ain't got to undo bolts and fiddle around underneath here. And also I wanted the long sides out this way so the blades didn't hit when they come down. But I've done that side, and I've done this side as well. So there we are, we're getting ready for the new contraption I'm building here. Just got to do these up tight. But they'll have two holes in here, and that will go into this steel that's underneath. You'll see it when it comes together. Now I'm not going to claim it's my idea in any way, but it's my way of connecting it. This is something I've thought up, if you like. And also, I've never seen it done with these like I-beams. I've always seen it done with wood. They normally make up a wooden frame and then tie it up with rope and try and hold it against it, but it don't seem logical to me. Like, you know, I'm a carpenter, so why would I mess around with wood when I can mess around with steel? No, not really. So anyway, so I've got two brackets on. So in the morning, bright and early, I'm going to start lining up the steels where they go and putting the cross members in and all this. You'll see it all come together. But I couldn't find anywhere to buy anything like this, and I think this is going to be a good little contraption. It's got weight there to push it down with the steel, the I-beams, and I can add weight as well. You'll see what I'm going to do later. So folks, I've finally finished it. It took me a whole day to make it. So I had some girders, one girder I bought off of the fellow who had the pickets. I've cut it up. I worked out all the geometry for the bed opening, which is there, okay, and the angles they had to be. The reason I had to do that was I had to make these brackets up down here. So this bracket fits to that implement I bought, and I made this bracket. I put some relieving cuts in there just to get a little bit of a bend. It's 10mm thick still. Some heavy duty bolts on there, and then I worked out the spacing between there and there so I can get that flex. And then this lid sits down on top and stops the muck coming out too high. Yeah, it just comes up. It piles up a little bit because I've already tried it, I won't lie. It piles up a little bit, and then it pushes it out the back. So as I'm moving forwards, it's funneling it out the back. So on one of my evenings, I was having a dinner Tracy had made, and I was drinking some beer, and I had a eureka moment thinking about this. And I've watched a few on YouTube, believe it or not, and they'd made them out of wood. They just put wooden sides on and tie them up with string, and they work adequately, you know. But I wanted to make something that's long lasting, and eventually I'll paint it red to match the tractor. But also I wanted something that had adjustment as well. So I had to put these bars across the top. This is sorry about the wind, it's a bit windy today. These are 1.5 bar by 1.5 by I think they are 6mm thick in the steel. So you can see I put 2 bolts on here, same on the other side. They go out, and then I bolted at the ends, and then I bolted them down onto the steel bar that goes across there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some more holes in there so I can make that infinitely adjustable, if you like, in and out like this, if you can see my fingers. So I can either go in tighter or out further, because there's enough flex on the brackets I've made. But these 2 bars here and down these drop bars here, they hold it from actually falling down onto the floor, you know, falling in. They keep it up, and it keeps the beds equal and even. But I'm well stoked now, that's all done. It's looking good. Tell me what you think. You can see I've left these bars here longer, so I can get some more adjustment to go outwards. So if I want to make a wider bed, as the width of the 5 foot what's it called, rototiller. But it's all nice and strong, solid. These don't move at all. Solid. Anyway, another bracket down there. So I made 2 brackets either side. They're bent as well. That was the biggest job, actually, doing that and getting that angle right, and being able to bend it as well. So I'll tell you how I did that in a second. But if anyone's going to do this, especially you farmers out there, if you're watching, you know, it's worth giving this a go. Do it in a bit of steel. I've never seen it done in steel before, so it could be a first. I don't know, not sure. But this is how I bent them. So over here, do you remember my magic plate I had? I told you about. I used the ball, so I pushed the steel in here, and then I bent it, and then moved it out until I kept moving it, you know, bending it round till I got my shape. And then I had a little template that I'd made with the geometry when I drew it out on the paper. So I drew it all out first on the geometry, and then I put that against them brackets against that paperwork geometry that I drew out to show that they fit and everything would work. And we're going to take it up in the field again, and I'll show you it doing the job, and then you can really see it's a proper job and done. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. Okay folks, sorry I forgot to put in there a bit to show you, because it was an important part. Right, so if you look underneath now, the blades are touching the ground, okay? In there, they're touching the ground. That leaves the sledges, these sledges here, are off the ground, okay? Now when I set up the geometry of this, I wanted the steel I-beam, we call this an I-beam in the building trade, okay? I wanted this bit to go under the earth, pull through like a little plough to bite through, yeah, so it had to be lower than the plough. Lower than the skids, or the sledges, if you like. So that was a little thing I had to work out. There were some measurements to be done to get that angle right. But I just had to put that bit in as well for you guys. If you're going to do this, do that. I think it would work if you had this level with the sledge, but you'd be just scooting across the top. You want a little bit of digging, like a mini ploughing, if you like, ploughing half an inch. You want that little digging so it keeps everything nice and straight. But we'll see on the field when we do a little test with it. So as you can see, folks, it's a success. So it took me a day or so to make the implement, all out of steel, no welding needed yet. I've just used a threaded bar and bolts, nuts if you like, but that's the bed. So it's raised it up lovely. It's a good 8-10 inches above the soil level. I'll just go backwards show you. Okay, it's a little bit wonky, still getting to grips with my tractor. But you can see the implement on the back there, and it's done the job perfect. It just couldn't be any better. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to my next wheel comes up this track here, okay, on the tractor, so I'll come back down here backwards and then I'll go back up again, but just slightly over, probably about half of that rut there over, so I'm making a bigger pathway. And the reason is not for me to walk in or move anything down. It's basically when you grow lavender and grosso and phenomenal, they grow very big, and you need a good area around about 3 foot, which is, I don't know, a metre roughly all around them, so they can spread out. So this row here will be the first lot of lavender going in. I'm hoping to get about 25 along here, because that is 26 metres long, and then we'll just get the beds out. So what we're going to do is just put 1, 2, 3 maybe beds out now, because we've got enough lavender for that, and then we're going to cultivate the rest of the lavender ourselves. We're going to bring them on, and do as cuttings and bring them on. I've tilled the field over there, but that was just a practice with a tiller. So this is for the actual bed, starting this way going that way, and then as you turn round, this is the road. So that's what the view they'll get from the road. They'll look from the road there, and then they'll look up here and see the beds going up with the lavender. Okay. So folks, as you can see, let me just take the camera off. That is what I call perfect. I am well pleased with that. So it's giving me a nice path down the middle here. I'll get another path here obviously, and oh, it's just raised it up perfect. I'm really pleased with that. That was worth a day's work making that implement, and it's going to make putting these lavenders in a lot easier, because what I'm going to do now is, if you can see it from this way, look, it's lovely, it's raised them beautifully. Let's get low for you so you can see the depth. Hey. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some chicken manure pellets, organic ones. I've got a bag of organic stuff, and I've got some Sure Vive, which is like a quick lime really. It's the lime that I showed you in one of my videos when I was making up hot lime. I'm going to be spreading some of that on here just to sweeten it up a bit, take the pH up a little tiny bit. The old lavenders love it actually, a bit of lime, and they love a bit of chicken manure just to get them going, but they most of all love dry and free draining soil, which is important. So this is why I've raised the beds up, and then once I've done that, I'm going to put over the top the what's it called, geotech, yeah, geotech covering, which is the stop the weeds coming through. I'll make some little slits in it to put the lavenders in. You'll see me doing that when I'm up to that stage, but oh, I'm well stoked. This looks fantastic. I'm really happy with this. You don't know, people might be asking me, local farmers, can I do their beds for them? Nah, not really. I just stick to my place. Anyway, tell me what you think of that one, guys. So, look at that, 3 rows. 75 lavenders going to go in there. I think we're going to do it alternate, I think. So, Grosso, Phenomenal, Grosso, and do it like that. And then I'll prepare another 3 beds once we get some cuttings done, and then get going, give them a month or so. But there you go. All the talking about getting lavenders in, now they're ready. We're getting ready there. And I think the implement worked well. Tell me what you think of it. I've not seen that actual design done before. I've done it myself. I told you why I put the bracings in and all that. And like I said, like being a carpenter, why would you work with wood when you could work with metal?